unpacked that process of defining what your data strategy is. And one of the pieces that we this is usually how we drive strategies whenever we go to a customer location and we want to be able to give them a formidable solution. So one of them is to define the objectives, be able to know exactly what are we trying to accomplish, because when you have that defined objectives, then it does allow us to be able to define what data strategy method we're going to use and what's best with for the customer. And yes, we do hybrids as well, where you can be able to marry these different strategies together so that you can get the best breed. But yes, defining the business objectives and defining what you want to accomplish down the road, that's actually one of the key pieces where that's very important whenever you're defining data as a strategic asset. And then, of course, auditing, being able to understand what you currently have, because that fills in the gaps of what is currently there and what you need so that you can be able to make those decisions that you defined with your objectives. That's why it flows together. Then, of course, the governance, the security, and the compliance, being able to understand what type of compliance you have to have, whether it's do you collect P2 data, personal identifiable data? Do you collect criminal justice data? Do you collect HIPAA data? All that stuff now drives what kind of strategy that we're going to have in place. And some of the auditing tools that we do work with do allow us to be able to uncover or be able to surface some of the data issues that we do see with the data that we see from the customers. And then the other key piece is once we define the objectives, we audit the data, and then we define the security and compliance. We understand the security and compliance of the organization. Then what we do next is to develop a roadmap. We create a very achievable roadmap with milestones. This is what we're going to accomplish at this point. This is what we're going to accomplish at here. Very measurable and very achievable so that the customer can actually see the realization of that process as we go through it. And then after that, then we start talking about the technology selections based on what we have, then building or enhancing what we have. So if the customer already has a data warehouse that sits on a cloud platform, do we want to enhance that, or do we want to build based on, again, based on the defined objectives? This also drives that business whether a business objective of whether we're going to build or we're going to enhance what's there. And then that now we start doing that roadmap implementation, because now we understand the technology, we understand what we want to do from governance perspective, we understand what we have from data estate perspective. So we start now building or implementing that whole process. After the implementation, the other key piece that we do is to monitor and scale. So this here, we don't leave customer hanging, because now we've completed this process here and it's up and running. We want to continuously monitor this process and scale based on the need. So if our data warehouse or if our data lake is not meeting our needs and our data has continued to grow, we monitor these processes, and we have processes in place that allows us to be able to monitor it so that we can be able to continue growing, or we can be able to scale down if we are not using the resources that we expected when we initiated the process. And then we continue to innovate. Data is changing, technology is changing on a daily basis. So we try here within our organization, we stay ahead of the game so that we can ensure that our customers are continuously innovating, continuously keeping up with what's changing. Like now, for instance, we'll talk about Purview here in a few, where things have changed quite a bit. So we want to make sure that our customers are changing as this, our customer data estate is changing, or it's evolving as things evolve. So that's the other piece that we do. And then last but not least, whenever we go through this process to ensure that you have data as a strategic asset for your organization, is to measure the success. So we also want at the end of all this process here, and as we continue to monitor and scale, that we want to continuously measure the success. Is it meeting the objective that we put together at the inception of the project, or is it where can we be able to improve? This is what we've seen. This is how we are measuring all that.